Hello everyone, here you are watching Dr. Bipin Kumar, and today I'm going to introduce you the topper of biochemistry, Chirag Maheswari.
Hello.
He qualified his ARS in 2015 recently, and he is going to join this NAM program. So I am requesting Chirag ji, थोड़ा सा यहाँ पर कुछ टिप दीजिए हमारे स्टूडेंट्स को जो बायोकेमिस्ट्री के हैं.
Hello everyone. My name is Chirag Maheswari, and I did my graduation from University of Agriculture Science, Bangalore. And after that, I moved to ICAR-ARS Delhi for my biochemistry. I did post graduation in biochemistry department, and further for my PhD, I joined same institute ICAR-ARS for same department biochemistry, and yeah. And in 2015, I appeared for this is the first attempt for me in 2015.
Okay, first attempt था.
Yeah, this is my first attempt. Okay. And
I think you are from third year finish.
When I attempt ARS, that was my 2.5 years I completed in the PhD.
You are in the third year.
I was in the third year then.
Okay.
So
I am congratulating you for your grand success.
Thank you, sir. And the syllabus for the ARS biochemistry department for the biochemistry division, and we all know that there is 10 subunits, and you cannot find all the 10 subunits in one book.
Yeah.
So I better feel that I may suggest, I cannot say that these are the only things you should go through, but these are the things which you must go through. Like there's unit 1 basic biochemistry and biomolecules. There is not one book you can go through. There's many topics which you need to go through the net, and most of the topic you can find in the lineages also, like pH and buffer and thermodynamics. And there is no need to go deep in those things, because we are in the biochemistry, we are not in the thermodynamics, and all those things need to be asked.
Here you have to cover some basic things, not too much in depth.
Yeah, we should not go in the deep, but we must cover each and every part. If the title is given in the syllabus, then we must cover the things. Otherwise,
at least you have some command to write at least 10
like I give you example, like what kind of question they will ask. Like there is a pH and buffer. There is a they mention the pH and buffer. So they may ask the question like in 5 number questions, like what is pH and what's the implications in the cell, and what's the need of the pH when we are going for the DNA extraction and all.
So these are I think the basic things, not the very no need to go too much.
But we must have the idea, because these basic questions sometimes they will ask in the interview also. Okay. So what's the pH and what's the buffer?
So the book name, what book you have suggested for this?
I better suggest like pH and buffer and all those things, redox reactions. These topics can be covered by the lineager in the first part. And remaining things like prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, nowadays number of
I think lineages is the basic book, I think, for your biochemistry.
That's the major book. Means like most of the topics can be covered by lineager, but at the same time, if we find that these topics are not available in the lineager, so like in case of organization of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, we can go through net, because there are nowadays number of
net is the one of the mega source for the material. But
so one thing, like in case of ARS competition, I feel personally that one should prepare their own notes. They should write down what kind of questions they should prepare. Like they should imagine in a way that if I'm reading this topic, then what kind of questions they may ask. And they should prepare their notes in that format also.
Means they have to make their own notes by
like in the question and answer format, because you do not have much time in ARS to think, because it's 3 hours.
Writing skill is always having a very important role.
This 3 hours require like 6 questions of 10 marks and 20 questions of 5 marks, and some
40 questions for 2
40 questions of 2 marks, which include like true and false and the fill in the blanks and all those things. So you do not have much time to think there. The only thing, you must be prepared in a way that once you read the questions, you do not need to think. You just need to start writing the answer.
I think for this, it need a very huge preparation. Once you will be having a huge amount of the knowledge, then only you can recall immediately.
That's why I'm saying, like one must prepare their own notes, because at the last moment you cannot go through the books. We must have our own notes. And the one other benefits of having our own notes, because we know what we have written. Sometimes the memory work in a way like we can't recall the things. But
at the last moment of the time, it is very tough to even revise also if you are having your own notes.
So prepare your notes in 1 and 2 books for the whole syllabus, and that will be easy. Just you can revise the things in the 10 or 15 days rather than going through a book. So this is the one of the basic things. Now I'm going to the second unit, like intermediary metabolism, and the whole syllabus of this unit can be covered from the Leninger. There is no need to
the second unit can also be covered by the Leninger.
Yeah, we need not to go divert into some other books, but there is some terminology which cannot be found in the Leninger. So there is not a specific book like secondary metabolites. I better suggest go through the net, find the questions and find the material and write it down.
Okay.
Because every time you cannot go on the net and search at the last moment. But
it is better that once you are searching, you must compile on the notes.
Yep.
So it is not easy to go every time on the note and searching, and
just write it down. Find some senior which having some knowledge regarding the ARS. What kind of questions they basically ask? Basic questions in the ARS. But sometimes the ARS is nowadays I can see a bit change in the ARS. Earlier this is more about the theoretical knowledge, but nowadays at least 1 and 2 questions are there which can be practically linked.
Okay, they are linking the basic things to the practical things, huh?
Yeah, like nowadays
this is give the examples.
There's nowadays epigenetics is one of the big terms of big sciences going on.
Okay.
So basic, if we go inside the book, you don't find anything about the epigenetics in the book. So I, as a biochemist or as a biotechnologist, I must be aware. If I'm going to write the exam in the biochemist or biotechnology, I must be aware what is the epigenetics really is. And what's the implications of the epigenetics? So this 5 marks questions they may ask, because you don't because we cannot find these questions anywhere
in the book.
So we must go through some online literature.
So I think online you will find a lot.
Yeah, in biochemistry, because nowadays many things are start adding up. Leninger is one of the oldest books, but it still is the fresh book for us.
Yeah.
So we cannot avoid the Leninger because most of the syllabus is covered by the Leninger, and like another unit like enzymes, vitamins and hormones. Hormones can be covered in the Leninger. Vitamins, a bit information for vitamins, like I can say is present in the Leninger, but it's not all the information. Again, I better suggest go through and search over the net what is vitamin, what's the implication, what different types of vitamin. And
Miss vitamin portion cannot be covered by the Leninger?
I think it cannot be covered.
For the vitamin portion, they must go for the
vitamins. Because if I want in a concentrated way, my knowledge in a concentrated format, then it's better to go for the vitamins, such like what is vitamin. So you will find number of PDF in the vitamin.
On there,
So that is the best part. Just take out the PDF and take out whatever the needed is, because when you go through the vitamin they will going to cover in the format of the human health. But at the same time, it's useful for us also, because they are listing what kind of vitamins, different types of vitamins, what's their implications, what's their.
Do they ask the vitamins related to the humans or plant?
No, they will ask the vitamins only. The basic questions they ask different types of vitamin, fats, right on the fat soluble vitamins and their applications.
Basic things they ask, huh?
Yeah, basic things. That's why every time I'm suggesting, no need to go deep inside the topic. The only thing, if the title is there, if the something is in the syllabus, then don't even feel free to avoid it. If you can't understand it, don't feel it.
If suppose you are avoiding a single keyword, means you are giving a chance to fail.
Yeah. One question. If you lost the one question in the ARS, then you are reducing your chances.
At this moment, 66 question near about in the whole paper. Yeah. So if you are avoiding any single keywords, there may be the chance that you may find in your answer question that the keyword may be there. So we cannot avoid any keyword.
One must never be not even while reading and while even attempting the exams. If you are not getting the answer of any questions, then try to link your answer somewhere. Otherwise it will be
and it is possible only when you read well, very well. Then only you can link.
And then again, the 4th unit is molecular biology. For the first few topics here, the Leninger is more than sufficient here.
Means for the 4th unit?
Yeah, the 4th.
Is also Leninger is there?
Leninger. But when method of gene transfer and all those things, I better suggest go for a T.A. Brown and or one can go for the B.D. Singh also. This is a good book when it comes to the biotechnology portion. In the concentrated formats, we will find a lot of information.
Even the list of the books are given in the description box, so you don't worry. You listen the things carefully. You can write down the name of the book from the description box.
And there is another unit here, technique in biochemistry. There's a book with the name of Wilson. So I better suggest go through it. But because in the book the information is too much deep there, they are not going to ask that much information regarding things. The only things they will ask you, what is the ultra-centrifugation, different types of ultra-centrifugation, what is centrifugation technique, what is the principle of centrifugation technique. So these are the kind of questions they will ask on the technique. I can give you example like electrophoresis. This is one of the basic technique in the biotechnology and biochemistry. So the basic question they will ask in the 5-number questions, like what is the electrophoresis, what's the principle of electrophoresis and how it's going to work, and what are the different application of electrophoresis in the biochemistry or in the biotechnology. So these kinds of questions they will ask. Then there is the markers technologies are there. So again, I better suggest go for the net. Again. Sorry to say it and repeat it again and again. I'm saying this: go for internet. The reasons these things are so much
new things
already covered. Like when it comes to the marker, these things are already covered in very wonderful way by different literature, different scientists, or sometimes the different persons who is preparing number of slides and number of PDF there.
Okay.
So if you go on the book, you won't find those information.
That quality of the material.
Because if I write marker, if I go through the book, I need to write down everything bit by bit. I need to search what is the application and all those things. But the benefits of searching over the net, because I will write the marker and I will get the answer in the format the way the ARS is going to ask.
Yes. Need of the ARS.
Yeah. So it's better for, even if you find the topic in the landing or if you find the topic in the book also, I better suggest that one must go for the literature review also over the net. Just don't totally depend on the book, because nowadays the book is not that much updated, because Laniger is okay. Laniger is totally updated, but everything's new. Every day is new things are coming.
Yeah, because I think biochemistry is the basic science. So in the basic science, every day the changes is going on. So if you are not aware about the, I think, internet, so you are going to fail. Give the contemporary answer, I think.
I can give you an example, doctor, here, that last time they asked what is the I gave you an example like epigenetics.
Epigenetics.
Nowadays there is a different terminology also. What is the epitranscriptomics? So you won't find this
in the book,
perfect terminology in the book anywhere. So, but they may ask these kind of questions because ARS now is getting diverted, coming with a new terminology.
Yeah, for the giving a selection, you need to be very updated, and even you have to cover all the things, because selections is a very minor difference process, I think. Only 4 or 3 seats come in the.
When it comes to the number of seats, is only 4 seats.
Only 4 seats
for biochemistry.
So, though I think differences will be very less, so you must have to cover the whole thing.
Then another unit number 6, biochemistry of food grains, fruits and vegetable. Hard to say. Go for the net. That's the only thing I can explain here. One of the advantages in the biochemistry, like if you're having this syllabus with you, you will find that there's number of repetitions of the things, like vitamins, they giving the terminology
once
here
again
also.
Here also.
Yeah, and you will find the same terminology in the unit number 3 also. So if you are going through, so lots of repetition is there. So I can say like 10 to 20% repetitions in the syllabus is there. So no need to worry about the same 3 pages of syllabus.
A lot of the repetition and overlapping is there.
So just find the terminology, search from the book. If you can't find from the books, as the Dr. Bipin is already saying that he is going to list the books in the down
in
below.
the description below.
So these are the books which you can go through, and if you are not finding this syllabus in the books, go through the net and you will find some seniors also. They will help you in another way also. Like another unit number 7, photosynthesis, and the unit number 8, plant metabolic process. These things you can basically find in the Tejan Jager. This is the perfect book.
I think plant and physiology, Tejan Jager is the best book.
So that is the best book you will find. Although it's a very elaborate book, but I suggest you, because the question they can ask any question, because in ARS this is not only the written part. We need to go through like first the objective questions, then the in the final in the written part, and then the interview part. So while you are preparing for the ARS exam, don't think that this is a very lengthy topic. They are not going to ask any questions from this in the objective kind or in the subjective kind. they can ask, maybe this unit may be covered in the objective, this unit may be covered in the subjective, or maybe this unit, from this unit they can ask questions in the interview also. So better prepared. While you start preparing for the ARS, start preparing for the full length, that you need to keep in mind that you are going to face 3 phases. You are not going to face that only one phase, that just the objective, and finally you are going to join your job. Okay. So this is not the case, we all know. So yeah, better for the 7 and 8, it's better for the These. And again, if not finding any topic, go for the internet. Then the plant molecular biology, unit number 9, and the unit number 10, plant biotechnology, genetic engineering. I can better suggest here 2 books. If someone is very interested in the techno, again this like repetition here, site-directed mutagenesis already covered in the unit number 4 there, but still they mention this this particular topic in this one also. So the basic books, we can go either BDC, plant biotechnology, BDC biotechnology. Yeah. And another book is T.A. Brown. If someone is very interested to go deep, if interested, and at least go through this T.A. Brown, find this topic in the T.A. Browns, and so you will get better understanding, because the thing in biotechnology, you cannot mug up the things, you need to understand the process. Because I cannot mug up everything because the syllabus is too huge, and so it's better to understand some of the things, like in the unit number 5, these are the techniques. Better to understand these techniques, so that even if you can't remember the things, you have some basic idea what this technique really is. So you, rather leaving the question blank, you can write down something like this is this and this is that. So this is how I wish that everyone should, only 5 points I will say at the last, how to prepare for the ARS. First of all, never try to leave even a single topic there. One thing. Second, do not totally depend on the books, because you cannot cover whole things. If you are blaming that I cannot find this topic in the book, but still this topic is inside the syllabus. So this is not any blame game. You better go for the net. Third is, one should prepare their own notes. Write down each topic. Write down what kind of questions they can ask. Write down what kind of objective questions can be framed out of it, from that particular topic, and what kind of subjective questions they can frame out. So it's better to prepare enough. Once must keep in mind that while I'm preparing, then I need to prepare for the objective as well as for the subjective also, and at the last and for the final. So and try to cover as much as things. Try to repeat the things. One must give at least 3 months for ARS preparation, because objective, then the subjective, so it will take time. So better prepare the notes. And so yeah, that's about the syllabus. Now let's move to the interview. Because once you qualify the objective, once you qualify the subjective portion, they will now you need to appear in the interview. When it comes to the interview, there is a different perspective, because they know you have sufficient knowledge, so they increase the bar in the interview. They are not going to ask like sometimes they ask the very basic questions, but if we think if they are going to think very basic question, if they are going to ask the very basic questions, so I can answer those questions. But in interview, the scene is totally different. Those basic questions are the toughest one, and the trickiest one will be the easy for you sometimes. So in the interview, like if even as one scientist will ask, what is the gene? So okay, you know, everyone knows what is the gene, what is the prokaryote, but how to define the gene in a perfect manner. That's what they expect from you, because most of the interviewers are from the old scientists. So they expect from you the perfect definition. So they although you know the things, because everyone know the gene, but when it comes to the definition part, when it comes to the defining parts, the interviewer expects you to define in a very easiest way or in a perfect manner. What is gene? Then one must explain all the part of that particular gene. So these kinds of questions they will ask. They will ask you to interview yourself. So prepare yourself how you are going to introduce yourself.
So what was the role of your research person when you have given interview? At the time, what proportion of the questions they asked from your research?
First of all, they will ask you to introduce, and during that introduction, you need to explain that I am working on this, and I was work on this during my MSc. So now it's depend on the interviewer, but what kind of topic you are working on. So if they find any interesting things from your topic or from your research, they will directly divert it into your research, and from there they will go deep inside your research, because
from the research person you must have depth knowledge.
Yeah, because you are working on it from last 2 and 3 years, and you must be a very basic knowledge about. You must know why you are working it, and you must know what kind of benefit it will give to the farmers.
What problem solving is.
Yeah, that's the basic questions. That's the basic questions the ARS chairman were going to ask. How can your research can help to the farmers? So you must know, because when it comes to the biochemistry, the life science, sometimes it's very hard to explain how these things directly going to help.
Because this is not applied science now. Yeah, it is basic science.
It's the basic science. So it's very hard for us to explain the things, how we can explain this particular work and explain the farmer. So even though we know that this is not directly linked, but sometimes we need to create our answer in a way so that we can persuade them, yes, this is how our research is going to help the farmers.
Okay.
So this is the basic thing that one must aware in the interview, that you should not give a loophole. Like if they ask very basic questions, this is the biggest mistake we people do. Like if interviewer asks very basic questions, we start giving blah blah blah, and we give so many answers in that, even those things are not required in that particular.
We cannot mislead them, because they are knowing everything.
No. Misleading is actually dangerous for us. Because he asking something, he asking your name, and you are start giving the family name. And then again the next questions come, what's your father and what's your mother? So better if they're asking the question,
to the specific what you are knowing, really honestly you speak.
Yeah, sometimes we speak so much in the answer that we are giving the clue to them, to the next question.
Many times what we explain unnecessary thing, so they got the clue. Yeah, and that might be your weakness. Maybe you are not knowing much about that.
Yeah. If you are very good enough, then just go for it. But it's better is still not to take that risk, because they can go any deep down there. So yeah,
or kuch?
Yeah, for me, I think that's how I started my journey for the ARS, and that's how I ended up with learning so many things during this journey. That's how must prepare for the ARS and all those things. Yeah, and basic science is still lots many things are going on still in basic science. So one must be keep it up with the net. So because we cannot find out
with syllabus, book and net, three components they must have to correlate.
Nowadays even the 1 GB data is free, so
free to yeah, Geo has given the free access to net to everyone, so I think it's very easy. Yeah, use very precisely, and what you can say for the benefit of yourself. So thank you, Chirag, for giving such a valuable input to our agri-coach students. They are really very needy for that. I am very thankful for that. Thank you and all the best. Bye bye.